I'm Sheriff Ray Nash. I first took the oath of office to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution when I was 19 years old. 34 years later, I'm still at it. I've spent 20 of those years in executive leadership as either a police chief or a sheriff right up the road here in Dorchester County. And I spent the last 3 years in Afghanistan, where I served as the criminal justice advisor to the U.S. Embassy as part of our government reform efforts there, working to try to fix things over there. We'll see how successful we are when it's all said and done. But at any rate, as a sheriff or as a law enforcement leader, we apply the Constitution every day. We make constitutionally sound decisions on a moment-by-moment basis. Most of the problems that we have is we're not following the rule book anymore. And the rule book's the United States Constitution. We put government back in the box of the Constitution, we'll fix most of our problems. I don't know if the budget for the Defense Department is adequate or not. I can tell you from firsthand experience that it is being misspent on a grand scale, and we are asking and tasking our military personnel who are extraordinarily dedicated and committed and willing to put themselves in harm's way. We're using them for purposes and responsibilities that they're not properly trained nor equipped for, nor should they be used for. And we see this in the nation-building efforts in Afghanistan. We see it in our support for other nations and sort of a military interventionist type of policy that we've got. We've got some terrible things that are going on, some frightening things that are going on in the Middle East, in Southwest Asia, and we need to be very, very careful that we're supporting the right people and not arming, equipping, and training people that are going to turn those guns on us, as we're seeing in Afghanistan and elsewhere.
Thank you.
Litmus test number one, the United States Constitution. If it's unconstitutional, it doesn't get passed. If it's not part of the enumerated powers that we've delegated to the federal government, it doesn't pass. Secondly, is it cost effective? Does it make sense? Does it put America's interest first? Does it protect American jobs? These are the types of questions we need to be asking ourselves, not how are we going to rule the world, but what can we do that's going to put America first? Does it make sense in terms of a cost-benefit perspective?
Thank you.
We're going to take a close look at every single piece of legislation that comes down the pike and make sure it passes the litmus test that we've already discussed. I'm going to educate myself on the various issues that are of importance for a congressman to be up to speed on in great detail so I can make informed decisions about what passes constitutional muster, what does not, what is in the best interest of America as well. We will seek to be a leader. All of us up here, any one of us goes to Congress, we have one vote. We understand that. That's equal to everybody there. I have a strong voice, and I want to be a voice for education in terms of constitutional principles, the historical context of our great founding documents, why they are every bit as relevant to us today as they were then, even more so. And I want to be the one to lead the charge of getting these other congressmen on board with this true conservative agenda.
Thank you.
How will you put a stop to Washington's rampant crony capitalism?
Mr. Nash.
Again, the reason that we have this type of cronyism and favoritism in Congress is because there's so many loopholes, there's so many regulations, there's so many earmarks, there's so many ways to weasel different aspects of funding opportunities into these bills where it can be given back in the form of cronyism or favoritism. So I think once again we've got to look at making sure the bills are constitutionally sound, that they're not filled with unnecessary earmarks, and we need to keep a real close watch on the ethics of what's actually taking place in Congress and make sure they're playing by the rules. That's really what all this is about. It's playing by the rules, whether it be the Constitution, whether it be ethical rules, whether it be other legislation, whether it be playing by your own rules when you pass a law and make it apply to you as Congress. I mean, give me a break. We have a rule-breaking mentality there that needs to be stopped.
Thank you.
I want to thank you all for coming out and being engaged in this process. It's so critically important. And even here, because there's so many of us, we didn't really have the opportunity to drill down deep into some of these issues. I would encourage you to go to our website, sendasherifftocongress.com, and look at some of the short video clips that we have about our position statements. But that being said, our founders gave us a blueprint. They gave us a blueprint for a morally sound, financially responsible, and constitutionally limited system of government that we have largely strayed away from here. I like to say that I'm a lawman, not a lawyer. But you don't need to be a lawyer to read this and apply common sense to some of the decisions that are being made. If you want some of the same in Congress, then don't send me. You want somebody who's going to fight for your rights and for your freedoms, send a sheriff to Congress. Thank you.
Thank you so much.